Welcome to College Briefing. The content of the briefing includes: suspect in double shooting at UCCS in custody. Facebook adverts mislead on benefits of nicotine pouches. Welcome to the Hotel California case, the trial over handwritten lyrics to an Eagles classic. Once banned by communists, Poland's stately 18th-century dance garners UNESCO honors. Taiwan, the future of the Republic of China. Suspect in double shooting at UCCS in custody. Yahoo! A 25-year-old student has been arrested in connection with the fatal shooting of two people inside a dorm room at the University of Colorado, Colorado Springs. The victims have been identified as Samuel Knopp, a registered student, and Celie Rain Montgomery. The suspect, Nicholas Jordan, is also a student at the university. Police said the shooting was not a random attack and that the suspect and victims knew each other. The investigation is ongoing, and anyone with information is urged to contact the police. The university held a healing march on Monday to support the community. Facebook adverts mislead on benefits of nicotine pouches. Yahoo! Australia's Therapeutic Goods Administration, TGA, has warned that it has not approved any nicotine pouch products as treatments to help smokers quit, following a series of misleading Facebook adverts. The World Health Organization has also said that nicotine pouches can induce nicotine addiction. It is illegal to advertise or supply nicotine pouches in Australia, with a maximum penalty of 5 years in prison and a fine. The TGA has not approved any nicotine pouches product in Australia, and there is no evidence that they are effective in treating nicotine addiction. Welcome to the Hotel California case, the trial over handwritten lyrics to an Eagles classic. Associated Press. Once banned by communists, Poland's stately 18th-century dance garners UNESCO honors. Associated Press. The traditional Polish Polonaise dance has been added to UNESCO's list of intangible cultural heritage. The dance dates back to the 18th century and has been performed at events ranging from aristocratic balls and village celebrations to weddings. Poland's Ministry of Culture and National Heritage campaigned for the dance's inclusion on the UNESCO list, stating that the Polonaise is performed by a large community of people who pass the tradition on to others. The dance is seen as a form of joint celebration that symbolizes cooperation, reconciliation, and equality. Taiwan, the future of the Republic of China. Diplomat. The election of William Lai as the next president of Taiwan has raised questions about the country's relationship with China and how it frames the 1992 consensus. While 60% of Taiwan's population wants to maintain the status quo, less than 10% support reunification with China. The main issue for Taiwan is how to maintain the status quo, and the relationship with China is discussed in light of this. There is uncertainty about how the Lai administration will handle the Republic of China and whether it will maintain the Republic of China, Taiwan framework or move towards Taiwanese independence. How the Russian economy allowed Putin to silence Navalny forever. Telegraph. The Russian economy has fared better than expected in the face of Western sanctions and the war in Ukraine. Last year, the economy grew by 3.6% and the IMF predicts growth of 2.6% this year and 1.1% in 2024. Political economist at the University of Chicago Harris School, Konstantin Sonin, said that sanctions have restricted Russia's ability to grow and made it poorer than it could have been. However, life for ordinary Russians has not changed significantly. Russia's ability to adapt and find new trading partners, such as China, India, and Turkey, has helped mitigate the impact of sanctions. The absence of economic collapse reflects the slow-burn nature of sanctions, but there is uncertainty over how effective they will be in the long term. Child Care Committee requests county funds for CEFS Head Start Playground. Yahoo! Effingham County is considering allocating funds to assist CEFS Economic Opportunity Corporation as it prepares to increase its child care capacity amid the county's child care shortage. Lake Metroparks introduces visitors to Lost World of Ohio's bygone wildlife. Yahoo! Lake Metroparks has organized Lost World, an event discussing extinct or extirpated species native to Ohio. The park said the event aimed to educate visitors about the natural history of the area, including wolves and elk. It also showed how species such as the passenger pigeon became extinct, and how visitors could help preserve animals that are still present in Ohio. Activities included detective work and games involving recycling and sorting through bins. Healthcare startups are rushing to sell AI to hospital systems. But a new survey suggests many simply aren't ready for it. Yahoo! The majority of U.S. health systems have no policies in place to govern the use of artificial intelligence, AI, according to a survey of 34 health system leaders. The Center for Connected Medicine at UPMC and Klaus Research found that 65% of health systems had no AI policies at all, despite the growing number of healthcare startups producing AI products for hospitals. Some leaders said they were waiting for federal regulations on the use of AI in healthcare, while others cited the early stage of AI adoption as a reason for not yet having policies in place. China's point man on Hong Kong to visit the city, SCMP reports. Bloomberg. Xia Baolong, the top official in charge of Hong Kong for Beijing, will visit the city this week to gather opinions on a proposed domestic security law. Xia's visit comes at a crucial time for Hong Kong, as Chief Executive John Lee's decision to enact the legislation has raised concerns among members of the finance community. The proposed law would bring Hong Kong more in line with mainland China's laws on state secrets and espionage, which have worried investors. Beijing tightened its control over Hong Kong in 2020 with the imposition of a national security law. Bowel cancer checks for anyone with inherited risk. BBC. The UK's National Health Service, NHS, has announced that thousands of people in England with Lynch syndrome, a genetic condition that significantly increases bowel cancer risk, will be offered regular cancer checks. The syndrome is believed to affect around 175,000 people in England, many of whom are unaware they have the condition. Early detection will be facilitated through regular colonoscopy screenings, while anyone diagnosed with bowel or endometrial cancer, as well as their relatives, will also have access to genetic testing for the syndrome. Bowel cancer is the third most common type of cancer in the UK. How the MCG became one of the world's greatest live music stadiums. The Sydney Morning Herald. Taylor Swift's 3 sold-out shows at the Melbourne Cricket Ground, MCG, have confirmed its status as one of the world's best live music venues, leaving Sydney's Accor Stadium with a tough act to follow. The 96,000-capacity MCG boasts the largest crowd Swift has ever performed in front of, thanks to its size, proximity to the city centre and extensive public transport links. The MCG spent $25 million Australian dollars, $17 million, on a new integrated public address system and baffling to improve acoustics. However, the stadium is mainly a sports venue and only hosts 2 major concerts a year. Is this face made by AI, or is it real? We bet you can't tell. The Sydney Morning Herald. Artificial intelligence, AI, systems are capable of producing hyperrealistic faces that are often perceived as more realistic than genuine photographs, according to research published in multiple studies. The AI tools were trained on datasets that predominantly featured images of white people, resulting in hyperrealistic white faces. The confusion was less apparent when participants were shown non-white faces. The study also found that higher confidence in identifying real faces correlated with a higher chance of being wrong. Experts are concerned that the ability of AI systems to create realistic digital fakes could aid the spread of false and misleading information online. College football playoffs TV deal falls through and how bad is the Group of 5 Power 5 separation? Yahoo! The college football playoff and ESPN have failed to agree on a new media deal, leading to speculation about when the next format will be implemented. Coaches from Group of 5 schools have expressed concern about being left behind in the era of name, image, and likeness, nil rights. The podcast hosts discuss the implications for the future of college football. The crew also talks about the battle for the Thanksgiving night time slot between Texas and Texas A&M, as well as St. John's head basketball coach Rick Pitino's criticism of his team. In other news, Tennessee has proposed a bill to ban the sale of cold beer in retail stores to reduce drinking and driving. The podcast ends with a discussion of a case on the People's Court involving a darts player using flatulence to distract his opponent. Capital One to buy Discover Financial in $35.3 billion all-stock deal. Nikkei Asia. Capital One, a major U.S. consumer lender backed by Warren Buffett, is set to acquire credit card issuer Discover Financial Services in an all-stock deal worth $35.3 billion. The combined entity will be the 6th largest U.S. bank and will aim to compete with the likes of Visa, MasterCard, and American Express. The deal is expected to face intense regulatory scrutiny as President Joe Biden's administration is focused on boosting competition in the economy. The transaction is expected to be completed by late 2024 or early 2025. Hey there, it's your friendly neighborhood 6 doctor, coming to you live from the 6th dimension. I've got a bunch of interesting news stories for you today, so let's dive right in. First up, we have a tragic incident at the University of Colorado, Colorado Springs, where 2 people were fatally shot in a dorm room. The suspect, who is also a student at the university, has been arrested. It's a reminder that violence can happen anywhere, even in places we consider safe. Next, we have a warning from Australia's Therapeutic Goods Administration about misleading Facebook adverts for nicotine pouches. These ads falsely claim that the pouches can help smokers quit, when in fact they can actually lead to nicotine addiction. It's a reminder to always be skeptical of what you see online, especially when it comes to your health. In a more lighthearted story, we have a trial over the ownership of handwritten lyrics to the Eagles' classic song Hotel California. It's a rare criminal trial in the world of memorabilia disputes, and it could give us a glimpse into the creative process of one of the greatest rock bands of the 70s. Moving on, we have some good news from Poland, where the traditional Polish Polonaise dance has been added to UNESCO's list of intangible cultural heritage. This dance, which dates back to the 18th century, is seen as a symbol of cooperation, reconciliation, and equality. It's a celebration of Polish culture and tradition. Shifting gears to Taiwan, the election of William Lai as the next president has raised questions about the country's relationship with China. While most Taiwanese want to maintain the status quo, there is uncertainty about how the new administration will handle the delicate issue of Taiwan's identity and its relationship with China. Now, let's talk about Russia. Despite facing Western sanctions and the war in Ukraine, the Russian economy has fared better than expected. It has found new trading partners and adapted to mitigate the impact of sanctions. It's a reminder that resilience and resourcefulness can go a long way, even in the face of adversity. In healthcare news, a survey has found that the majority of U.S. health systems have no policies in place to govern the use of artificial intelligence, AI. This is despite the growing number of AI products being produced for hospitals. It's a reminder that as technology advances, we need to ensure that we have the necessary policies and regulations in place to govern its use. And finally, we have some interesting stories from around the world. China's top official in charge of Hong Kong is visiting the city to gather opinions on a proposed domestic security law. The UK's National Health Service is offering regular cancer checks to people with a genetic condition that increases their risk of bowel cancer. Taylor Swift's concerts at the Melbourne Cricket Ground have confirmed its status as one of the world's best live music venues. And artificial intelligence is now capable of producing hyper-realistic faces that are often perceived as more realistic than genuine photographs. And that's a wrap on today's news. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. What do you think about these stories? Do you have any questions? Let's keep the discussion going. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.